Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.
It's Monday, August 28th, and this is The Gateway from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Rod Milam, sitting in for Wayne Pratt. Coming up in just a few minutes on the program, we'll talk about how in its 209-year history, Belleville has never had a female fire chief until last week. That's when the city council approves Stephanie Mills as the next chief.
I've worked really hard in my whole career just to be known as a good firefighter and not qualify it with the female part. But there's no denying that this is special.
Coming up again in just a few minutes, we'll have a conversation with Mills about her new job and what it means to be the first woman in that role. But first, news headlines. Drivers in Missouri who break traffic laws while using their cell phones could get fined under a new law that takes effect today. The law aims to limit distracted driving, and statewide traffic safety organizations say it could save the lives of pedestrians and cyclists. St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson reports.
Brent Hugh remembers when a distracted driver almost ran him off the road while he was cycling. He says the driver came about 6 inches from hitting his elbow and he had to veer toward a ditch to save his own life. Hugh is executive director of Missouri Bicycle and Pedestrian Federation. He's been working with state lawmakers on a hands-free bill for nearly 20 years. Hugh says the St. Louis area will benefit the most from the law because it isn't safe for walkers.
Anything we can do to help keep drivers' attention on the road where it belongs when you're driving is going to help improve that safety.
The law allows police to cite drivers who break traffic laws while using their cell phones. The first violation in a 2-year period is $100. I'm Andrea Henderson, St. Louis Public Radio.
Many Illinois employers will have to start posting salary and benefits information in job listings thanks to a newly signed law there. Alex Degman reports.
The rules included in the law just signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker apply to businesses with 15 or more employees. They have to include a salary range and a general description of benefits, or they can link to a full description of pay and benefits that's posted elsewhere. They're also liable if a third party they hire fails to post the required information. The new law, which takes effect in 2025, does not apply to generic help wanted ads. Companies would get a chance to appeal and rectify problems before being punished. I'm Alex Degman.
4 words tucked into a 193-page state bill means that starting today, employees in the city of St. Louis will no longer have to live in the city itself. St. Louis Public Radio's Rachel Lippman reports on the brand new law.
While St. Louis's charter has required its full-time employees to live in the city since 1914, police and fire department employees have gotten exemptions along the way, often with the help of the state legislature. This year, State Senator Carl LeMay, a St. Louis Democrat, introduced a measure to allow all employees to move outside the city with a 5-year sunset. She says it came out of a conversation with the mayor's office about how hard it is to hire people. The language that ultimately became law does not include an end date. May says that's sometimes how things work in Jefferson City.
I can't say that I was okay with it. It's just at that moment I had other fights happening.
The change overrides the will of St. Louis voters. They rejected lifting the residency requirement in 2020. I'm Rachel Lippman, St. Louis Public Radio.
A St. Louis-based violence prevention organization is expanding to reach younger kids. Safe Connections is tailoring its Project Heart program to 3rd through 5th graders. It will focus on conflict resolution, bullying, consent, and healthy relationships. Destiny Green is the Prevention and Community Education Manager at Safe Connections. She says it's never too early to start having these conversations with children.
We have to give youth the tools to understand what consent is, what boundaries are. You have a right to have boundaries, especially when it comes to your space, your bubble, your body, talking about what actually is inappropriate at school.
The program has already been implemented in middle schools, high schools, and universities in the St. Louis region. The city of Belleville made history last week. The mayor nominated and the city council approved the first female fire chief by a 15-1 margin. St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer caught up with the new chief, Stephanie Mills.
So, newly appointed fire chief in the city of Belleville. Mm-hmm. Does it feel a little different now that you're a couple days in?
Oh, absolutely. I feel just a a larger sense of responsibility, but excited at the same time. It's a great opportunity.
When did you know that you wanted to be a firefighter?
Well, I was not one of these legacy guys that it came down through their family, their grandfather, their father. And I wasn't one of these people that knew as a kid either. And I had some acquaintances when I moved to the St. Louis area that were firefighters, and I was super intrigued by it. And then I started testing in the area, probably around 30 years old. Gosh, it's just the best career. It's just the people that you get to work with, it's not just you go to work from 9 to 5 kind of job and then you go home and you go back to your family and your friends. This is, you live with these people, you're here 24 hours, and it's just a whole different ball game, and I love it.
So you were selected as the chief this past Monday.
Okay, I would like Stephanie to please stand and be recognized.
What was the first emotion that went through your head when the council had voted and you were the chief?
I would have to say just pure excitement. I mean, getting to work with these guys for so long and just having so much respect for these people, it's just an honor to get to lead them.
You do happen to be the first woman in the city's history to hold the position. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think, I've worked really hard in my whole career just to be known as a good firefighter and not qualify it with the female part. But there's no denying that this is special and that it's a good signal to young women that this is achievable and that this is a career, should they choose it, that may work for them. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is an option, and it takes a lot of perseverance, but yeah, it's a great career. It's very rewarding.
So you've been with the department for 20 years. What goals do you have, or what do you want to accomplish now that you're the chief?
Well, I just my job as the chief is just to continue to provide the men and women of this department with the training and tools that they need to be able to serve the community of Belleville in the best way possible. And just to build on this department's been here for a long, long time, and just to build on the tradition and the foundation that has been set for us. We hope to just keep building on that.
And I sense there's maybe a little bit of tension with the fire department and the city, right? The last chief only lasted a year, didn't have the support of some firefighters because he was an outside hire. The one person who did vote against you said she had some qualms with the fire department. Now that you're the chief, how do you go about maybe mending some of those things?
Well, it's no secret that we've had some turnover in the chief's office, and I think my hope is to provide some stability, and because with stability, that leadership, that right there is going to mend some things. And it's not broken, we're not broken. It's not a broken relationship by any stretch, but yeah, I think there's some tensions there, and we just, I think if we just continue to do our job and serve the city, that the things will mend themselves.
Stephanie Mills is the new fire chief in the city of Belleville. Congrats.
Thank you.
And thank you for the time.
Thank you.
That was St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer speaking with the new Belleville Fire Chief, Stephanie Mills. St. Louis Public Radio is a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Our music today on the podcast is by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Rod Milam, in for Wayne Pratt. Have a good day.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.